Joe, a big-time premier matchup that we talked about this week was Florida versus Texas A&M. And it's so funny. Going into the game, all the talk about the quarterback position was around Florida. But it was actually Texas A&M who had the quarterback change in a quarterback situation that propelled them to win because this Marcel Reed kid is really good. And I'm going to throw this out there. I don't know. Doesn't give you a better chance to win over Connor Weigman. I digress. Well,
just temper expectations just a little bit because this Florida team is not trying. Right. They're half asleep when they're playing. So
that kid looked really good.
He looked phenomenal. I do agree with the premise that you're presenting.
Okay.
But I don't know if we have an answer just yet because Florida, again, they're not trying.
81 yards and a touchdown. He threw for 178 and two other scores.
They should at least rotate. They should at least rotate him in.
And there's a battle going on in A&M whether they want to admit it or not.
Mm-hmm.
But Joe, we're going to focus a lot on Florida here. So let's get this out of the way first because I want to. We're going to spend a lot of time on them. I thought A&M looked pretty poised for the moment, man. Going into a hostile environment, they looked like they got so much better from week 1 going into week 3. You have a quarterback that's down. Joe, their explosive plays, getting vertical, I thought was actually something that we didn't know if Colin Klein would actually do. They did at the right moments and the right times. Joe, their offensive line dominated Florida. From start to finish, they got absolutely dominated. Le'Veon Moss had 110 yards on 18 carries. I guess my question to you is, man, you got to see this Texas A&M team really up close and personal. What do you make of them now week 3 under Mike Elko?
I do think you bring up an interesting layer with this because of the fact that Marcel Reed, his skill set's probably a little bit better served for what Colin Klein's trying to do offensively. They ran all over him. We're talking about 310 yards rushing. That's the same amount of yards rushing that Notre Dame had against Purdue, and they won by 60 points. 310, 10 yards per passing attempt. They didn't even need to really throw the ball. I think that Texas A&M, it's one of the worst things that we do, and sometimes we fall victim to it. I would much rather, when a team falters, give them the opportunity to recover than immediately rush to kill them. I think that it is one of the worst things that the media does. I don't think it's wrong to get hyped up on a team when they have a really big game. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. But when we quickly shoot down a team because they have a bad performance, I think it is overly anticipatory and you're not allowing for things to play out. I think this Texas A&M team could finish the year ranked. I don't think they're a playoff team, but I think that they're better than everybody anticipated.
8-4.
I think 8-4 is totally accomplishable. To be the 25th ranked team in the country, like right where they're at right now, they're hard-nosed. They can run the ball well when they put their mind to it. And
defense is really good.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that we were proven here, and I think it sets up this really interesting juxtaposition between two teams. I can tell which team has pride in who they are and what they do.
You're talking about in this game? Yes.
In this game, you can see a Texas A&M team that's coached by a guy. You guys hired the right coach in Mike Elko. I can tell when your team wants to take advantage of an opponent that is completely out of energy, that doesn't want to be there, that's getting rained on, they're soft, they don't want to fight, and you just keep punching them in the mouth. That's a damn good head coach. And then on the flip side of this, we got to watch Billy Napier slop together whatever we just saw. 52 yards of total rushing, 2.1 yards per carry. I think sums up the performance that they had.
We'll get to them. I want to finish one more thing on Texas A&M before we get to Billy. 8 players caught a pass this past game for Texas A&M. 8. Joe, their leading receiver had 2 catches. 2. Maybe, I mean, look, man, this Reed kid, I'm going to say this. I was really surprised and stunned by Marcel Reed. I really like what I saw from him. Yeah. I thought the kid looked really sharp. And you know what, Joe? Coming out, got a little delay. He ain't stopped. You know what he does? I'm going to take a shot downfield. Bang, tutty. That kid's got some playmaking ability in him. And I'm just going to say, maybe they got something there.
This video is sponsored by the online fitness training camp presented by Chris Gates Fitness. When I first started talking about Chris, about partnering with our show, not only was I excited, to have a fitness sponsor for our pod. But more importantly, when I found out about how he can help people achieve their goals, I was even more bought in, because when the football season starts, it is so tough to stay on top of things and also to be able to enjoy yourself on Saturdays when it's game day. With Chris Gates Fitness's online training camp, you're going to be able to effectively stay focused, consistent, burn fat, build muscle, and do it with a like-minded community of individuals working towards the same thing. On top of this, you're going to be able to get direct coaching from Chris and the ability to ask him questions with an access to a live Q&A where you can get direct personalized support from Chris himself. Don't wait any longer. If you're trying to get in shape during this fall and you want to be able to do it with the right support system, head on over to chrisgatesfitness.com/trainingcamp or click the link in the description. And you need to do it today, because you can get the first month. Personal training is expensive, folks. The first month for only $10 when you use that code RufinoJoe. Don't wait any longer. Head on over there. BetOnline remains your top spot for all of your live betting action and contests. NFL, college football, UFC, NHL are all in full swing. BetOnline is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions, with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to BetOnline today and use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for 50% off your first deposit. That is a 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline, where the game starts.